Residential area, District E. After we left the cafe and I parted ways with Taku, I wandered around town for a while. Then, once the sun set, I headed to the park. Okay. The place was deserted on a winter night, and the white glow of the street lamps made it look even more desolate. I sat down on the chilly metal bench and lit another cigarette. I wasn't ready to go home yet, so I was trying to kill time. As I watched the pale smoke float up into the dark sky, I heard a commotion in the distance. Several pairs of footsteps were approaching, and when they passed under a street lamp, I recognized them instantly. Oh.
ほら、やっぱりトワだ。
Who's this? Who they?
おお、ほんとだ。トワさん。
Wow. Okay. New names. I'm gonna butcher them all. Kotaru? Kotoru. Kotoru. Mayu and Eiji were three guys I knew very well. They walked right over to me.
お前、よく見えるよな。
Got good
真っ暗な
eyesight.
のにあんな遠くから。目めっちゃいいの俺。超くっきりはっきり見えるよ。
I don't know why this really reminds me of like Kojaku's gang.
アニメばっか見てるのに謎だよその視力。むしろアニメで鍛えられてるのよ。
Whoa.
つうかと
Whoa.
何
This
や
guy
ってん
just
だ
has his tit
こん
out.
なとこで
Just like BAM! Nipples. YouTube, don't cancel me, please. Oh my god. Wow, I really love all of them. Especially the one with the orange, like, sport glasses. This is Kotaru. What are you up to out here, man? The tattoos. Oh my god. There are something about each one. Tanned, muscular Kotaru bent over to get a good look at my face. Whoa, he's just like... Damn, look at that. That's so low! Woo! Sorry, I'm enjoying character design. Are we able to see like their aura? Or is just mixing up with like the background? You could sort of see the effects, right? You could say he had a wild side or a short temper depending on how you looked at it.
ぼんやりしちゃってよからぬ妄想でもしてた
Oh my god. Okay, so Mayu is the one with the lollipop in his mouth. He was the tallest, okay, and the leanest of the three, and he dressed like he found his clothes in a dumpster.
景気づけに一発爆弾でもどうですか？目覚めますよ。
I really like his voice. What the
YouTube.
Why? Brain-like. I don't know. Wow. Why don't we set off a bomb or two for fun? That'll wake. Oh my god. Chaotic. Chaos. The guy in the beanie was Eiji. He was an expert in information gathering and bomb assembly. Using the power of social media, he had a vast information network that he used to collect all kinds of intel. I had slept with Kotaru and Mayu a couple of times out of boredom, but never with Eiji. He told me he wasn't really into sex stuff. Oh, there they are. There's their smoke aura thing. Kotaru's smoke was red, Mayu's was fuchsia, and Eiji was a blue-green color.
別に一服してただけ。
暇ってことがならデスマッチエリアに行かねえか
With a grin, Kotaru straightened up and jerked his chin to the direction of District A.
面倒だからパス。
Too lazy. Pass. I love him and hate him so much. I have never had so many conflicting feelings about a main character, player character, or whatever before.
言うと思ったとは絶対言うと思ったよ暇ならいいだろう付き合えよ元兄弟のよしみでよ
お前と杯を交わした覚えはないな。
Kotaru, Mayu, and Iiji were all former guns for hire that got recruited to the Takasato Gumi. Kotaru, and Mayu were scouted via death matches after they proved their fighting skills. As for Iiji, supposedly he got invited to join after he hacked the social media accounts and websites for one of the Takasato Gumi's businesses. Of course, they were all by no means the only people recruited this way. In fact, I've heard of people taking part in the death matches specifically to try to get in with the gang.
杯って言えばよ。とは、親父の葬式に来なかっただろ。
He didn't care, supposedly. Kotaru smirked.
行くわけない。
今日の昼に葬式があって、昨日は通夜だったんだよ。
Cool.
全然興味なしって感じですね。
I sincerely didn't. What did it matter to me if some total stranger kicked the bucket?
ま、いや。それよりデスマッチエリアだ。行こうぜ。
Ah, whatever. I'm like, well, that's fair.
行ってみたら意外と楽しいかもよ。
ないな。もういっそのこと全部爆弾で吹き飛ばすっていうのはどうです？そしたら一瞬でみんな楽しくなりますよ。
That'll be really fun for a second or two. Yeah, but it's just a second or two. What the fuck?
何がだ
Oh
バカ。
my god. Kotaru snorted and flicked Eiji's forehead.
ごたくはいいから行こうぜとは。ほら、立てよ。
He grabbed my arm and hauled me up against my will. Once he had his mindset on something, it was impossible to get him to change it. He kept a firm hold on me as we walked, like he was worried I was gonna bolt. I think he's too lazy for
俺らは上からデ
that.
スマッチに参加するなって言われてっからよ。なんもできねえ。が、お前は好きなだけ参加できるじゃねえか。羨ましいな、おい。元参加者として体がうずくぜ。
借金の取り立てで普段から好きなだけボコボコ殴ってるだろ。
それはお仕事だし、返さないアホが悪いね。
でもいつも楽しそうに追いかけ回してるじゃないですか、お二人とも。僕も怖くって怖くって。
嘘つけ。借金野郎の弱みやら個人情報やらかき集めるのお前の仕事だろうが。
はい、それはもちろん。新興味の情報なら任せてください。あと爆弾も。
Eiji donned a big cheesy smile and Kotaru scoffed. Here in Shinkoumi, as the poverty gap widened, many were burdened with large debts. Any debt unable to make payments was mercilessly hounded by the Takasatu goons. And if that debt reached a certain size, the debtor or how do you say? I'm not gonna look it up. Or would get a chip known as a web tag implanted in them. Implanted in them? Web tagged debtors were then tracked via surveillance towers erected all over Shinkoumi. They were forbidden to set foot outside the city until their debt was repaid. Wow. If they tried to leave, the Takasatu Gumi would send pursuers to hunt them down and kill them, no questions asked. You might wonder how the gang got their money back if the the person was dead. But corpses had plenty of monetary value. Jesus.
ねえ、行くなら早く行こう。帰って録画しといたアニメ見たいんだよ。
Wow. Maya was already looking away like he'd lost interest in the conversation.
うるせえな、このアニメ男。っていうか、あのスズメ、ポップコーン頬張りすぎね。欲張りすぎだよ。破裂しそう。あ？どこだよ。見えないっつうの。お前の異常な視力で見えるもんは普通の人間には見えねえんだよ。 みんなも俺みたいにアニメ見ればいいのよ。アニメ見ようよ。見ねえよ。
か。
Is he Chinese? Sorry, that popped into my head. Little tonal tones. Trapped in Kotoru's tight grasp and stuck in the middle of their inane banter, I left the park behind. What are we gonna see? 8:12 p.m. This music surprised me. Wow. District A, also known as the Deathmatch area, was a place forbidden to the average citizen. Not that they'd want to visit. Because because no normal people ever came around, nearly all the shops had closed their doors for good. The deeper you traveled into the district, the rougher and dirtier the city became. The place was busiest at night, but some unspoken rule that was... The place was busiest at night by some unspoken rule that was when everybody showed up. Oh man, this music good. As the four of us walked to the heart of District A, the sounds of scuffling and jeering grew louder.
おおお、今日も派手にやったんだ。
I wouldn't be surprised if we see right here. Kotaru grinned. Here, unlike anyone else, the air smelled of dust and copper. Lead. And unlike anywhere else, everyone's smoke was full of chaotic energy. The countless colors shifted and blurred together like an aurora of rejected crayons.
平和平和。この間の見せしめが効いたね。見せしめ？ああ、銃ぶっ放しまくってたやつか。
Oh wow.
まあ、吊るしといたからな。
銃は使用禁止になったのか？
They weren't banned before? Oh. Eiji shook his head in response to my question.
いえ、使用禁止という明確なルールは作ってません。相変わらず暗黙の了解状態ですよ。そのせいか、負けたことが悔しくてどうしても勝ちたい、復讐したいって新参者が銃を持ち込むことも増えてきてるんですけどね。
Technically, deathmatch rules permitted the use of weapons. However, weapons gave the armed fighters a huge advantage over the unarmed, so there was an implicit agreement among the participants not to bring any. Nevertheless, as Eiji said, some came armed regardless. These types were seen as cowards, and they were sometimes lynched as a warning to others.
この間吊るしたやつはリンチを止めに入った俺らにも銃を向けてきたからよ。そりゃぶん殴るよな。そうじゃなくても銃や武器が絡むと試合じゃなくて戦争が始まっちまう。そういうアホを見つけたらボコって持ち込んだ武器と一緒に吊るしとくとね、それなりの効果があるんだよね。
もしデスマッチが戦争になったら、その矛先は必ず高里組に向きます。それじゃ新興味がめちゃくちゃになっちゃいますから。どんなに混沌としているように見えてもバランスは大事ですからね。
みんなが平和に暮らすためってとこか。
As I listened, I thought to myself, what does peace even look like here in Shinkoyumi? Once you fell into the depths of hell, you wouldn't be climbing back out again. No, you'd have to make your peace down here. And our little rock-bottom society played by its own rules. I was merely a cog in the machine. But believe it or not, I kind of liked it down here. Nothing worth caring about, nothing that could tie me down. In that sense, yeah, maybe it was peaceful. A nearby ring of onlookers started to cheer and I looked over. A rainbow of smirk blurred together, flailing wildly. But I watched it all with cold indifference. After I left the deathmatch area, I was sitting in some random bar getting drunk when my phone buzzed. There was a new message in the group chat between me, Ray, and Taku. Taku, got a call about a critical patient. Okay, hold on. Let's read the previous one, right? What do you think, Towa? Depends if I feel like it. I knew you'd say that. Well, they do take out, so one of these days I'll pick some up so we can try it. Sounds good. It will be, I promise. That's just the group chat called Clinic. Just 3 of them. Got a call. Okay. Come over ASAP. As it happened, I was thinking of going home anyway. Cigarette between my lips, I paid my tab and walked out. Urasei Clinic. A few minutes after I arrived back at the clinic, Ray showed up. The patient was gravely injured, but this was no ordinary patient. A group of men, possibly the guy's buddies, carried him through the back entrance. His shirt was stained red with blood. All of them were wearing flashy clothes with lots of accessories. Host? These weren't innocent civilians, they were Yakuza, okay. That was my second guess. Most of the many medical facilities in Shinkoimi claimed to refuse services to gang members. In reality, a lot of them accepted these same patients behind closed doors, and this clinic was one of them. We were so often visited by Yakuza, you'd think Taku was one of them. Word on the street was that he earned the Takatsato Gumi's trust. Sometimes he would suddenly close the clinic or change office hours just to accommodate these special patients. Out of respect for his civilian patients, he made the gang bring their wounded in through the back, but it was an open secret at this point. This didn't scare off any of his regular patients, however. Doctors as good as Taku were hard to find. Besides, the residents of Shinkoyumi accepted that these things came with the territory of living here.
服を脱がせますね。
Oh my goodness. With permission, Ray began to remove the patient's shirt as he lay on the exam table. The man was sweating bullets, gritting his teeth to endure the pain. Stripping him revealed a stab wound in his side covered in blood.
出血がひどいが、傷はそれほど深くなさそうだ。
Frowning, Taku examined the cut, then started patching him up. Ray and I assisted him as needed, following orders as he gave them.
よし。
After he had finished administering first aid, Taku let out a long sigh. The patient had regained a lot of color in his complexion compared to when he first arrived, and he seemed calmer now.
痛みはどうですか？もし辛いようなら休んでいった方が。いや、いい。
Grunting, the man tried to push himself into a sitting position. Taku held out a hand to stop him.
急に動かない方がいいですよ。
手当てが終わったら戻ってこいって上に言われてるんでね。
Ignoring Taku's request, the man sat himself up regardless. Then, clutching his bandaged side, he slowly hopped down off the exam table.
世話になった。すまねえ。
Taku didn't bother trying to stop him. He knew precisely what kind of world this man lived in. The man snatched up his neatly folded shirt and started walking, pressing his hand against the wall for support. He left, accompanied by his associates.
見送ってくるわ。
Ray hurried after them. They would be leaving through the back, the same way they came. The man's medical expenses would be then billed to the Takatsato Gumi directly. Wow, this floor. Is it a floor or is it the ceiling? Like the scratches, sorry. It looks very real. As Taku and I tidied up the medical equipment, Ray came back into the exam room and let out a giant sigh.
ほんと嫌になっちゃう。
仕方がない。無理に引き止めることもできないからな。
もちろん分かってはいるんだけどね。あんな状態で返すのって本人の意思だから仕方がないんだけど。
患者が望まないのであれば、俺たちができることは何もない。
うん、そうなのよね。
Oh, he's still so upset. Ray nodded to himself sadly, his eyes on the floor. This sort of thing didn't happen every single day, but it was still fairly frequent. Judging from his stab wound, the patient probably got embroiled in some sort of fight. But Yakuza weren't the only ones who had to worry about physical danger. Everywhere you looked, the city was dripping with death and violence, the product of pent-up rage that no one knew how to... By this point, the line between Yakuza and civilian had blurred among recognition.
あとはもう大丈夫かしら。
Oops. Well, I'm not sure if this turned up in my recording. It flickered again. I'll leave the rest to you, okay?
ああ、来てくれて助かったよ。急に呼び出してすまなかったな。
いいのよ。気にしないで。
あと、明日の炊き出し、よろしくな。
はーい。
炊き出し
The unusual phrase gave me pause, but Taku rolled his eyes.
先週から言ってただろう。忘れたのか？路上生活者や仕事が見つからない人たちを支援するボランティアのイベントだよ。
Come to think of it, I vaguely remembered that conversation. Stuff I didn't care about generally wasn't a priority to me.
よろしく頼むな。あとは俺がやるから帰っていいぞ。
At his prompting, Ray and I left the room.
とは
Yours. Right as I was about to head up to my apartment, Ray stopped me.
最近絵の方はどうなの？誰かいいモデルは見つかった？
いや、今のところは。
I shook my head. Ray was referring to my article on the Fourth Face, Roost's company blog, recruiting potential art models. Outside of being an all-around degenerate, art was my soul's hobby, specifically oil painting. Ray liked my work a lot. When he showed his boss at Roost, the guy decided he wanted to display all my new pieces in his establishment. That said, I couldn't paint a thing without a model, and not just any model, one who met my specific requirements. The manager of Roost liked to praise and collect paintings as a hobby, and he wrote about all sorts of artists on the company blog, both professional and amateur. He also invited artists to send in photos of their submissions, which he would post on the site. And if he really liked a piece, he would display it in the bar. Periodically, articles would go up seeking models for my work. My artist alias was Euphoria, chosen for me by Ray. Wow. I didn't care too much, but apparently Euphoria had a unique style that attracted a considerable cult following. So whenever my model requests went up, I'd always get a handful of responses. It was more of a steady trickle than a torrent, so I only checked my inbox whenever I felt like it. It didn't matter how interested the model was. If I wasn't interested in them, I couldn't paint them. And lately I wasn't interested in any of the people who emailed me.
早く新作書いてよね。一ファンとして楽しみにしてるんだから。それじゃ、おやすみ。
With a playful wink, he strode off into the staff room, humming a jaunty tune as he went. As for me, I took the elevator to the third floor and went into my apartment. Then I switched on the TV, flopped onto the sofa, and grabbed my half-finished bottle of booze off the floor. After the lukewarm alcohol flowed down my throat, I grabbed the pack of cigarettes on the coffee table and lit one. Gazing up at the faint illumination of the flickering TV on the ceiling, I slowly exhaled the smoke. According to the clock on the wall, it was nearly 3 a.m. But I still wasn't sleepy, so as I took another drag of my cigarette, I contemplated popping some sleeping pills. With the booze? We know this, but man. Alright, we're gonna stop here. Thank you everyone for watching again. I'm sorry about that long break, but you know, my health and all. in all ways. It really did help having those 2 months off. But thank you for joining me. If you're interested in playing this game yourself, there is a link in the description. Again, I want to remind everyone, this is a mature game. I guess the thing is, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Love to have you here. Don't want to miss a video? Subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.